Joshua Rosas. Bienvenido to Gracias Come Again. We're talking podcaster, we're talking father, author, creative, follower, and just the man out here overall just helping us heal. That's how I found you. I was like, this guy's making me feel real good right now. Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm just a person that desires to help other people, and that's always been the premise of what I do. So that's kind of how I fell into this realm of like social media and stuff like that.
Were you an extrovert at any point? Because I read that online. I'm like,
I'm extroverted on stage, so I do
Okay.
really well like in front of people and crowds. But then when you're like one on one, I'm awkward. It's like, do you like cheese? Like I don't know what to talk about. So
do you feel awkward right now?
no, I'm tired of a mix of that. We decided it was a good idea to be out late yesterday, and that was a mistake. But estamos cansado.
All right. What's the number one title that you would put upon yourself? If you had to pick a label and put it here, what would it be?
That's like a deep question. I think out of all those things, follower is the most important, because I think obviously the faith. My faith is a big point, but just that word itself, because I think it has so much meat to it. It's knowing that it's not all about me, that I'm following to lead. Yeah, I think follower is a good word.
Religion.
Yeah.
What happened that triggered that? You're very young.
Yeah.
And sometimes young people tend to, shy away from religion. They're like, I'll do it when I get older.
Yeah.
I'll do it when I'm 40, 50, 60. How did you end up so connected with God? You
Yeah.
grew up Catholic, right?
Yeah.
But then you went on a retreat and there was like a moment. What
Yeah.
happened exactly?
Yeah, so there's in the Catholic Church there's something called the Eucharistic Adoration. I'm from something called the Charismatic Renewal, so it's different. So it's like praise and worship, and like preaching and good charismatic preaching. But there was a moment or something with the Eucharist, with Jesus in the Eucharist, and my cousin invited me. So long story short, I'm a musician. I was a drummer for years. My cousin was like, "Oh, come to this retreat," and I was like, "Bro, I'm not interested. Like that's not really my thing." He's like, "There's gonna be girls there," so it's like, "I'll pick me up at 7."
You were like, it's lit?
I was like, "Ay, mi mojo pa allá." So we went to the retreat, and lo and behold, I opened up, and I was like, "You know what? Let me actually be involved in this. Let me not just go through the motion," and encounter Jesus there, and it's been an amazing story ever since.
When you say I encountered
Yeah.
Jesus, can we get into that? Because
Yeah.
a lot of people like, I want a sign from God.
Yeah.
I want to feel like God talking to me.
Yeah.
How did it happen for you? Like, how do you know that Jesus came into your heart or touched you or
Yeah.
whichever way you want to see it?
Yeah. In that moment, like that encounter for me was like overwhelming, like love, like just this warmth, and just like crying, like mocos, like everywhere. It was just all into it. I was like, wow, God is real, and that was a premise of that. But there's like this big misconception that people think that to follow God you have to feel God always. It's not. It's God is love, right? So it's that choice of choosing to follow love than it is to choose everything else. And that's our human arrogance, that we think that God has to prove himself to us. But we could dive into a deep hole with that. But yeah, just felt that moment that God was real, and then after that, knowing that I don't always have to feel to know.
Do you feel like you always have to move in a Catholic manner, or do you have your moments where you're just Josh?
Yeah, so I think there's something called scrupulosity, which is a fun word to say.
That's
And
a deep one.
scrupulosity is when you make yourself religious, where you over religiousize yourself. And to be honest, in that sphere is very easy to fall into that, because as a speaker, right, I speak in conferences of 4,000 or 5,000 people in the church, so I do have to carry myself in a certain manner. But the reason I should want to carry myself in that manner is because of me, not because I need to prove anything to anyone or look any type of way. I do agree in that sense that sometimes people look at those people and they think they make them saints right away. That's not true. I'm super flawed, super broken. I make mistakes every single day, but at the end of the day, it's what I go back to, not what I stay in.
I say it because sometimes, I go to church and I am around people that go to church, and sometimes, they slip up and say a curse. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they're just like me.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I'm not justifying it, but that's just truth. It's who you are. It's like you don't have to fake the funk. Right? If you do love Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also a person. Like you're gonna, live in this world. Just try to live in this world better.
What was the first moment that you picked up a camera and you decided, I'm gonna speak to people?
Yeah.
Was it straight about religion, or was it more about, just healing, self-worth, life purpose? Or did you straight off the rip,
Yeah.
start with God and preaching the word?
Yeah. So for me, like that was an intense. So actually, like during the COVID time, this is when I started that
I
whole
saw
stuff.
that, yeah.
And for me, like that, I was like, oh well, I'm not traveling to go speak to places. I might as well shift to this platform. But then I realized that there was a lot of people that didn't necessarily relate or connect with what I was already doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of made that transition because it was more about connecting to people than it was just trying to force a message for them to receive. It was more like about them than anything else. So during that COVID time, I picked up my camera and I started doing that stuff.
How
And
awkward
then,
was that?
Very. Oh, speaking to the camera was the most awkward thing in the world. It still is to this day.
It is for me too.
Just gotta
People like
fake it.
record a video and send it. I'm like, this is awkward, but you turn it on, right?
Yeah, and you do it like 10 times because you want to get it right and you mess up here and there. But yeah, I think for me that was the start of it, like during the COVID time, and then it shifted over. I started doing like media stuff and branding stuff for other people and other companies. And then I was like, well, I can't tell people that I can help them grow like their social media platforms if I only have like 2,000 followers on mine. So I decided to use my gifting and be very intentional. And in the first like 2 weeks, I think I grew up to like 10,000 followers on one account. And now we're like at 700,000 over 2 platforms. But that was like the snowball from that.
Do you remember what was your first video that went viral?
Yeah. It was actually a J. Cole video. There was a point where you would Google J. Cole and it would be J. Cole and me. So it was like he was saying, it's like, I'm tired of living with demons because they keep inviting more. That line that he has. And I went off of that. I talked about the reality that the reason that a lot of us are still struggling in things is because we married the struggle. We made ourselves into this character trait of the things that we're the worst at. And we went into that. And that video went like super viral. It did like 10 million views on social media. And that was the one that just pushed everything.
Have you ever met J. Cole?
No,
You got
J.
to
Cole
now.
adjacent. J. Cole adjacent. So
No,
I have
you gotta
friends.
meet the man now.
Yeah, that is the man. I gotta send him a message, be like, bro, thanks for that line because that line got me here. But I do have friends who are like Boz. His brother,
Yeah, I know
friends were
Boz,
friends with him. So my cousin went to school with him. So that's the connection there. My cousin's actually a musician on tour. So.
Are you a J. Cole fan?
Of course.
Favorite album?
Oof. Favorite album is crazy.
Come on, say the one I want you to say.
Actually, I don't think it's an album for me. I think it was his mixtapes.
Okay.
With Dollar and a Dream was
Early
on.
in the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Dollar. I think the mixtape was actually called Dollar and a Dream too. The single was Dollar and a Dream, and the whole mixtape. That one's for me.
Oh, so you've been a day one J.
Oh
Cole
yeah,
fan.
yeah. J. Cole's
He's
the
the
man.
man, right?
He's a man. He's just a lyrical poet. Like it's beautiful.
And it connects, and it's very much like the content you put out. It's real.
Yeah.
Anybody can connect. Anybody can feel like I'm going through the same struggle. You
Yeah.
know, granted, he's rich, he's a celebrity,
yeah.
but it still hits.
Yeah, I appreciate people like that because they allow themselves to be vulnerable. So you see the whole story. Like J. Cole was sleeping on a couch, like Boz's mother's couch. Because it's insane to me. But it's owning that story and staying with it, like staying rooted with it. Because it's easy with all that money to never care. Right? You could just become famous and not care about where you came from, but then you lose your authenticity.
So the couch that J. Cole was sleeping on was Boz's who?
Boz's mother. Actually, he lived in their second floor apartment. That's what
Because
it
I
was.
know he visits when he comes back, and I've seen the footage of like
Of
J.
the
Cole.
guy?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the guy. I didn't even know that was that relationship.
Yeah. So the owner of the house was a different person, but they lived there.
Oh, okay, I see. Because
Yeah.
I think I've seen the owner of the house.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is super dope. This is super cool.
Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
Dominican background, so
I
all my
love
people,
this. He said,
you know,
yo soy dominicano.
Hasta la tambora, porque ahí no sé. Today's actually Dominican Father's Day. So your father's,
Oh, feliz Día de los Padres.
And the Dominican festival we're just talking about in the Bronx, that's probably Candela right now, but...
Oh, forget it. We had other guests throughout the day that they were like, oh, sorry, we're going to go to the Dominican Festival. I'm like,
It's like,
enjoy. See you another time.
hopefully we'll see you another time because in the Bronx it's picante, but yeah. And my family's from the Bronx, so they moved from DR to the Bronx and now Jersey. So beautiful state of New Jersey.
And you were born where?
In the Bronx.
So you're a BX Dominican? ¿Tú eres de los míos entonces?
Estamos ahí.
¿Todavía tú viajas a la República o qué?
Yeah, I'm hoping to go this month actually. I haven't bought the flight yet, pero
¿Para dónde? ¿Para la capital?
la familia mía de Moca, but
Okay.
they moved to La Capital and they're
Okay.
living there now, funny enough. And some of them are here visiting. So she's going back the 17th, so I want to visit that time frame, La Capital.
Are you going to speak or are you going to
No,
vacation?
just going to hopefully not get robbed.
Stop your shit.
It's rough out there, but we just,
I don't know. I feel super safe when I go to Dominican Republic. I don't know why. I just feel like these are my people. Estas son mi gente.
Yeah,
You know, I
until
just
they're
make
not.
obviously I make it so that I'm not, you know, no me meto para la 42 y que comprende y vaina así. You know what I'm saying? I play my position. You know what I'm saying? But when I can go to the supermarket and everything, my mom is currently there. You know, she likes to live there
Yeah.
between Florida and Dominican Republic. Pero cuando yo voy, yo
No
me
pasa
siento...
frío.
Claro, no, esa, tú estás loca. Esa no quiere pasar trabajo. Esa quiere cocinera, chofer,
That's it.
mujer que limpia. You know,
That's it.
Dominican moms, you know, at the
The
end of
good
the day,
life.
they want to be spoiled.
Yeah.
And they don't work this hard to then end up here cogiendo frío. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Eventually, se quieren ir todas.
Yeah.
Don't, your mom's still with us?
No, unfortunately, she died in 2021.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
But
recent.
my mom was not a. She was Dominican mom, but she was an American Dominican mom. So you know, I did not learn this whole thing of how Dominican moms overlove their sons. Like my mom loved me.
It is disgusting.
But I didn't learn this until my grandma. Like spending more time with my grandma, like I could like kick a baby, and she's like, that kid deserved it. Like she's just, I could do no
Así
wrong.
me gusta, dale otra patada. Like,
She'll come and follow up. Like yeah, squad. Like so, I didn't let. My mom was very different. My mom was like, nah, we're not playing that. Like she was like, hey, you're gonna do that, and I'm not gonna support any other problem. And I'm like, okay.
and you know what? I thank her for
Yeah.
trying to break that cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not healthy. I'll say that.
It's not, you know, and it's a problem in my family. I have a brother, and he can do no wrong.
Yeah.
And
That's why we
trust-
get such a bad rep as Dominican men. It's our mom's fault. It's not even ours.
I'm Dominican, and I'm like, I do not dig Dominican because I thank you, Mom.
Listen, we need to break the stigma.
100%.
Dominican men are amazing. Love them.
Here he go. Your father is boy or girl?
Son, Luke.
Okay, so you're not gonna do none of that nonsense with Luke.
Oh no, he's not. He's not getting. No, he gets support, but not that kind of support.
How old is Luke?
He's 8 months today, actually. It's his
Oh,
birthday.
he's a little
Yeah,
baby.
8 months. Took his first step yesterday.
At 8 months?
8 months.
How smart is he?
Super. And my thing, I feel like I'm doing it right now because every time he cries, I put Típico on and he starts dancing, and I'm like, that's it.
I love that
kid is
you're
Dominican.
so connected, you know, with your, you know, Dominican side. You know, sometimes people start leaning towards like, you know,
Yeah.
different areas.
Yeah, I think it's important to like know where you came from and love it. Like that's the reality. We can't lose our like that's one of my biggest fear. I do not speak English to that kid. He will not hear an English word from me because
¿Tú le
I
hablas español en la
want
casa?
solamente. I if I slip up, I'll correct myself and then say it in Spanish because I want him to keep that. You know, that's important. It's our culture. It's where we come from. It's who we are.
Joshua said he's not going to be a no hablo
No,
kid.
no,
You've
no,
heard
no,
about that, right?
Oh yeah, and no, not a dig on anyone that
absolutely
lost
not.
that, but there's just so much beauty to being able to connect and being fully. Like my grandmother is very young, so he's definitely going to grow up with her, God willing, and I want that to be like a relationship that they can have, that he can speak to her and she'll understand completely. So
You know, and you know the duality of being able to exist in two languages is absolutely beautiful.
yeah.
Like I say all the time, if I have to interview in English only or Spanish only, the whole time I feel a little tense.
Yeah.
Because I'm overanalyzing every word I'm going
Yeah.
to say. Because a veces quiero hablar español, a veces quiero hablar inglés. And it's
Y
just
no me
like,
sale ninguna de la palabra.
oh my God.
We
It's
just,
like,
we
like-
just sit there and stare at each other for a little bit.
espérate, déjame pensar. You know, you translate words from English to Spanish. At least I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to find the wrong one. And I don't want to say the wrong one. Because you know, Spanish words, sometimes they don't mean what they really mean.
Yeah. His own thing. Especially in Dominican dialect, because those aren't, some words aren't words. We just make stuff up.
Because the thing with Dominicans, like we still have, you know, Taino dialect, we have Spaniard dialect, like, and we put it all together.
Yeah.
You know, tajarineando. Like, who says tajarineando? Like, what is that?
I mean, I was giving a talk once, and in this talk, I was talking about, like, so long story short, like this daughter who fell in love with the husband, they got married, and she used to cut the pernil in half and put it in a baila and all that stuff, and she did all these things, and the whole premise of the story was that there's this trauma that's passed down through generation, and we teach that consistently, and we keep doing those things because that's what was taught, so it was trained. So tell the story, and then in the room, I'm like,
I know
what do
the
you guys say? Oh, you heard
I know
that
the
one
story,
before.
yeah.
Such a good one. It's like
It's an amazing story. I've heard it with ham. I've heard it with pernil.
I changed it to pernil because
Depends on, you know, color of your skin.
So I said that, and I was like, una paila. And someone said it was a paila. And I was like, una olla. And I started naming like all these things of the same exact thing, but in different dialects, meaning something different.
It's crazy how he says una paila, and the word is actually a pyrex.
Oh, yeah. Oh, un poloche. It was a polo shirt. It's like we make up all these things.
Dominican, we're so colorful and we're just beautiful people. Not because I'm Dominican, but when I go to Dominican Republic, I feel wanted there.
Yeah.
I feel like people want to serve, you know, they want to cater to you. And I understand with tourism also
Yeah.
has to do with money. But
Yeah.
I've gone to places where tourism and money, and they could care less that we're there.
So I'm funny because literally 2 days ago I had the conversation with my cousin. So my cousin is a guitarist. He plays for Pitbull. So he's on tour with Pitt. And they were in the Bermuda. And he was saying he was comparing the two people, like Dominicans, how they are there, and the people in Bermuda. No offense to people in Bermuda, but they were just straight up like, "So you're not gonna tip me?"
Oh, straight up.
He's like, "What?" At least in DR, they'll like butter you up, and
No, claro que sí.
it's like,
Dime,
"You look
prima.
skinny, huh?" It's like, "Yeah, here's $10. Thank you, I appreciate that." Lie
Diablo,
to me.
reina, tú estás linda. And then you're like, okay, aquí está tu dinero. But nah, some countries, they would be like that.
Just straight up, it's like, "Yeah, where's my tip?"
You know, made for this mountain.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. The concept behind it. If no one's ever heard your podcast, what can they expect if they go to your channel?
So the whole goal is to challenge people. Like, I think the reason that we don't change is because we don't challenge the things we've been taught. We've become accustomed to just staying in things. And for me, that was a big one. Like, even now, like, again, I never profess to be perfect or know everything, but at the very least, I can communicate the things that I've read or seen. And things that I'm challenging myself with, I think it's good to put it out there and say,
Okay.
listen, this is what I'm being challenged with. What are you being challenged with? And then challenge people to be better in those things.
Why don't we do that right now?
What's the challenge?
I'm going to tell you my challenge.
Okay.
You're going to help me because I feel like you're here to lead.
Yeah.
You're here to, help us heal. I think my challenge is, being patient with men
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that they're sensitive
Yeah.
and they have feelings.
Yeah, that's hard. Because I think we live in a world that's villainized men. So
Okay.
men, like we talk about mental health and Men's Mental Health Month, and it's always like a passive thing. Actually, there was like a video that went viral on TikTok where
It was
this
your
woman,
video?
no, it wasn't mine.
Okay.
Thank God it wasn't mine. This woman was like talking about, she's like, okay, let's take a silence for men's mental health. And then she literally took like a half a second and she's like, okay, we're done. And I was like, but that's the problem, that we create a culture that implodes in itself because we villainize men and then blame them for being the villain. So it's like, you're bad and you're doing bad things, and no matter how much you try, you're still bad. I think for us to change that, we need to realize again that men are human, that they have emotions, that they go through things, that they are invited and welcome to feel. And we don't let men feel, because especially Dominicans, like I'm not bashing on people again, but
Tú eres un hombre.
así, tú no llora. I make this joke, and this is a joke. I don't mean this, but I say to my son when he's crying, I'm like, we only cry in the shower. This is to be funny. I'm not really saying
I know,
don't
because
cry.
you're already getting wet anyway.
Yeah,
You
it's
ain't
a
gonna,
llora allí, aquí no. But it's this reality that we have to understand that men are men and they're human and they deserve to be loved and patient with too. Like, you're looking for that patience. Is it rooted on something they're doing, or is it rooted on something that has been ingrained in my trauma to respond? And most of us respond from our trauma and not from our actual self, right? We respond from the first reaction and not the thought process.
I think, with men, they put up such a strong front from little that then us women, we're just like, oh, he's strong. Oh, he got this. Oh, he don't care. Or he don't got. It's like, I feel like they're partially to blame because you shrug everything off and
Yeah.
I don't care and I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And move on. And who cares? I'm a man. I got this. And like you said, from little, we
Yeah.
watch our moms like, tú eres un hombre, párate. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a combination of both. I feel like I have to break those, those, I don't want to call them stereotypes, but those expectations that I have. But it's just like, he's a man. He's fine. He could take it.
But I also think it's twofold, right? Because I don't want to
Please.
take away the work aspect of it. Because as a human, not just as a man or a woman, you should get up and do the things you need to do. You should get up and go to work. You should get up and put the effort and put the time in. It's
Oh, no, for
not
sure.
it's not gender based. It's just
Never.
human. So I
Hay que
do.
trabajar.
Yeah, no se come si no trabaja. So I do agree that has to happen. I just think that we can't overhype what the role is. Like, we say, well, this is your role. No, this is our role. And how do we work together to make this more efficient?
I'm a female that has a lot of masculine energies. I don't ever be like, the man has to do this. Like, if you let me,
Yeah.
I'll lead.
Yeah.
I'll be the man. You tell me what you feel. And so that, at least, I don't struggle with that. I just kind of struggle with, like, if I got to tell you something, I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
what needs to be told.
Yeah.
I ain't going to be sensitive. I ain't going to be sweet. I ain't going to be calm about it. But then it's just like, I feel like Josh is a man. He got this.
Yeah. But I also think that's the dynamic of the relationship that you have, right? Because some people might not be that way. Like, and I don't think. I could see where there's friction when the man isn't a leader, because it's not necessarily, again, it's not a gender biased thing, but it is a natural thing. So it should be naturally in you. But then we could dive into a deep hole with that too,
Let's
because
not.
people are raised differently. They have different problems, different traumas, and they respond from those things. But I do think that every relationship specifically comes down to that fact. What do we agree on? What are we doing? How are we doing it? Because I can't expect you to do something without ever telling you about it. You're not psychic. Yeah.
You're good. I like you.
I just listen.
That's good. Yeah, I watch all your videos, and you come off genuine, and you come off. There is a lot of people that are putting on their
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
media. How easy does it come for you to record these videos? Because I'm also a life coach, and I life coach everybody in my life, but I can't see myself getting on video and like doing what you do. It just feels so good and so natural. What kind of space do you have to put yourself in to do this?
Yeah. I definitely need a lot of like alone time. So again, I'm an introvert, so I am very introvert. So I need a lot of recharge time. Like after this, I'm gonna go home and sleep for like an hour. Like I'm just stare at a wall or something.
Why? What does it make you feel?
It's just the exertion of exerting yourself and being extra and pushing yourself out of there. Because I like to just sit and chill. Like I don't like clubs. I don't like that kind of stuff. I'd rather hang out with my boys and just have a beer here and there. Nothing crazy, you know? So for me, like, to be outside of things, it just is extra. But especially when it comes to, like, those videos, it's very taxing. It is. To sit here and, like, really plan out and jot out what's going to be said. And not just what's going to be said, but is it going to provide value? Because I could just sit there and just talk, and that doesn't mean nothing. It's not going to help anyone. So it does take energy, and giving myself the space to do it. And then on top of that, I do all the editing and everything, and all the audio and all the
One-man
recording,
show?
and literally everything to the T. So I was mentioning before, that it's just a lot of work. So it's taxing, but the greatest thing I've gotten. So recently, TikTok decided they were going to take me out of the creator fund, which was a
Why?
big thing for me because apparently I had a business account. You're not supposed to have that, but they put me back, so we're good. We're
Okay,
good.
yeah, we
But
need that money. Hello.
because that really helped. That was a big push for me to do that stuff. But then what I was seeing was all the comments, like all the people that were receiving something, all the people that were being healed or going through a process of healing.
Here I am.
That's great to see the actual fruits, right? Because that's the thing that you're like, okay, I'm not getting paid, but somebody's getting something. So that matters. And shout out to My Cultura and iHeart because they also make it a lot easier for me to make content.
They cutting a check?
And I don't know if I can talk about that, right? I mean, yeah.
Of course we can. They cut me a
They
check.
cut me a
What's the
check.
problem?
Okay, cool. Yeah, we good. Yeah.
That's the bosses.
I don't know.
Come
I
on.
don't really talk about money, but yeah,
We share
no.
boss. We share boss. Come on.
We
Don't
literally
worry about
do.
it. I know what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, which is awesome because that wasn't even in the radar. Like that wasn't
How
even.
did you end up with My Cultura?
So I got an email,
Okay.
right? And the email was like, "Hey, we love what you're doing on social media."
I love this because that means they're watching.
Yeah, which to me again is why you got to know who you're talking to. Would be before we dive into that. Yesterday, my boy's a barber, and my other boy's a barber. I mean, barbershop.
Yeah.
And he's like a celebrity barber, so he's like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Pharrell, he's Jay-Z's barber. Used
Nice.
to be.
Okay,
all
I like
people.
this. I
His
like
name is
this.
Johnny Cakes. Shout out to Johnny.
Johnny
and
into the bag.
Johnny
Continue.
was cutting somebody yesterday, so we're having banter. Just be the barbershop, being
Mm-hmm.
funny, talking. And when I'm cool with people, I'm like hilarious. I'm like top 5 that are alive, funniest people in the room. And we're talking and like wherever, and the person sitting in the chair is telling the story about something Johnny did when they were in Paris. So whatever. He finished cutting the hair, and a Maybach pulls up, and he leaves, and he jumps in the back, and he leaves, and he's like, "Yeah, that was." I'm not gonna say which one, but he was like, "Yeah, that was the head of this record label completely." And I'm like, I was just sitting next to this man talking, making jokes, but this is the whole premise of there is like you got to just be good to people because you don't know who you're around, not because you're gonna get something out of them, but because it might help. So iHeart reaching out or My Cultura reaching out was a premise of that. It's just being good to people because you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's gonna help you out when you need help, and that premise. So they reached out. I didn't believe it. I was like, this is a scam. They're about to take my paychecks. So I actually reverse searched the email. I checked the IP to iHeart specifically because it wasn't iHeart IP, and I'm like, there's no way. I was like, okay, it's real, and I still didn't believe it. I got the first check, the forward, the thing they get first, and I deposited in my account, and I took money out, and I'm like, this is still not real.
God is good. God is good.
All the time. But somebody's about to hit me with like a fraud or something.
They can reverse that check. Is no.
Everything go negative.
When I saw that you were part of My Cultura, I was like, I love this because I like the message that you're delivering. Yeah. And it puts us in a space where it's just not, celebrities and, influencers that move in the music space, but it's someone that is actually putting out content, based on their faith. And what you're doing is helping us heal digitally. The content on social media can be so toxic and, just so damaging that when I see someone like you, that's not, let's say, like a Joel Osteen or, you know what I'm saying? You're relatable.
Yeah.
And I love Joel, but I feel like I received the message easier because I'm like, he's one of my people.
Yeah, different world, completely.
Now, you work with the church also, right? I have here, you're like the director of a church.
I used to be director of evangelization at a church, at a parish.
You're not
I'm
doing
not
it
not doing
anymore?
that. I mean, I travel as a speaker, so
Okay. For the church or on your own?
I have a ministry called Agnus Dei, so I travel with actually one of my dear
How do
friends,
you say
Fernando.
it? I read it, but
It's Agnus Dei.
okay.
It
Is
means
that
Lamb
a
of God.
Latin word?
It is Latin. It's Lamb of God. It's just for now. It's just Fernando and I. So Fernando's our worship leader. Fernando's like one of the best worship leaders in New York. Period. Like, I'm not just saying that because one of my best friends. Like, dude is anointed. Like, he would come in here, he would sing, and this room would change. Like, he is gifted.
Why didn't you bring him? No
Yeah, I told him to
disrespect to
come,
your
but
homie that came today, but
no, Pete don't sing, but he played percussion. But
okay, he's gifted too. He's anointed.
He's gifted. Very different, very different.
Yeah.
But he's the cantor at a parish, so he has mass, so he has to sing in the mass today. So he's there all day. But him and I travel, leading worship and preaching and stuff like that, and it's dope. I get to do it with like one of my best friends. And
How do you end up traveling? Like, who books you? Like,
Yeah.
who reaches out, and how does one book you if they wanted,
Yeah.
for you to go? Because with this podcast, it's like the amazing thing about it is it's just not just heard in the United States, but any country that speaks Spanish
Yeah.
or Spanglish is listening to it. So
Yeah.
how does one, book you, or what do you bring to the table if someone wants, for you to be in their space?
Yeah. So people typically will email me. So like info@mademoremotivated.com. That's the whole thing.
Okay.
And they would reach out and they would invite me. It's just typically conferences or local church events, and all that's scaled depending on what they're looking for. But they'll send an email and they'll say, hey, we have this going on. Are you available? Are you free for that time? Right now, I'm purposely only taking once a month an event because I hate hotels. Like, I love people. I love engaging. I love conversation. I hate traveling.
Do you really?
I do. I really do. Like, I miss my bed. So that's the... So
Right now?
No, in general. Like,
Oh, okay, I'm like, Jesus Christ, let me finish this up.
No. In general, I mean, when I'm traveling, it's like, oh, man, I miss my room. Everything's comfortable.
And you travel alone, right?
Yeah. Sometimes with Fernando, sometimes alone. I think it's better with somebody else because, it's entertaining. There, you're kind of just sitting there. It's only so much you could do as you wait. But I love the interaction with people. I love connecting with people. So it's dope in that concept.
How do you pick like what you're going to preach that day? Or do they tell you, we want you to address this group of people?
Yeah, they usually give me a topic, like the theme of like the event or the retreat. But it's funny because actually one of my biggest events I ever spoke at was an arena in Wisconsin with like 4,500 people in this arena.
And
by the way, there were no Dominicans in Wisconsin. Like, literally, it was a big arena, and I'm like, yo, is it so Dominicano, a Dominican here? And one person in the top third row goes, woo, from really far away. I was like, my one person.
You're like, te veo allá arriba.
They came to talk to me after. I was like, oh, I'm half. I was like, oh, okay, that counts.
Claro que sí.
The bishop actually celebrating the mass gave my whole talk. So the whole talk I had ready for that day, for that event, I guess the Holy Spirit inspired him. He gave the whole talk that I was going to give.
Before you went on?
Before I went on.
Oh, no, yo me mato.
So I had to right there change it all up. 4,000 plus people.
What did you speak on that day? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I was so tired. I didn't sleep for like 30-something hours at that point. So I was traveling and...
Were you just so nervous and so on edge about speaking?
Actually, no. On stage, I'm very, very calm.
How? You're such a complex person.
The stage is easy because it's like...
An introvert that is calm on stage. Yeah. Oh.
I think the word is omnivert, right? Is that the one? Where you could kind of be both, but you're really leaning more to one side.
Oh, the dexterity of this man.
Yeah, I read. The veracity in my words.
No, I was just talking about the fact that you can be both.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, you could, yeah. Apparently that's a thing. So I think that's what I am. But in the stage of that, I think it's easier because not that you don't care as much, but it's like the reactions are different. Like it's nice when like I get to be funny and people respond to that. That makes me even better. So in that component, it was easier because I don't have to oversell. I just be me. So
what do you look at? I've presented artists like in big, stadiums, Prudential Center, the Barclays Center. But when they invite me to actually speak, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make it. Because just thinking about standing there and addressing a whole group of people, you said 4,000?
Yeah, that's 4,000.
Yo me muero.
Yeah.
Yo me muero.
Yeah.
Now what do you consume? Music, movies? What's your thing? What are you watching right now?
I don't really watch much TV.
Is that because of your faith?
No, that's just because of my time.
Okay, got it.
It'd be great if I could just sit down and
At
just.
night, you can't. 11 to 12, you can't watch something.
Oh,
Or do you
ya
rather
estoy
be
durmiendo,
working?
yeah. I'll watch social media trends so I could be on top. No, I'm not. TV's not really my greatest thing. Um,
Típico.
Típico, of course. Like, if you were to click my playlist right now, on my last played, it would be Worship, Típico, and for some reason Coldplay. Oh, because of the
Oh
thing.
God,
So
not
it's,
Coldplay. Oh, because of the
yeah, got me
CEO
back
drama
into
that
it. The
happened.
CEO drama. It's like, that's a good marketing. Someone did something right. Not them, but for at least Coldplay.
No, I feel like I want you to give something, to our listeners.
Yeah.
A lot of them are living their life, you know what I'm saying, in the duality of that, English, Spanish. And a lot of them I feel like want to be content creators, but they're afraid.
Yeah.
How can they just go for it? Like, how do they could just be like, yo, pick a niche, pick a topic? Like, how can they also become content creators and, monetize off of this?
Yeah.
And, maybe go global the way that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's finding something you love
Uh-huh.
and talking about it. So it's at the end of the day. So the goal should never be to be famous or successful in that,
Never.
because you will hate it. It become a job, it become a chore. It becomes something you don't want to do. Because then you overhype numbers, you overhype analytics, you overhype all these things. I think the best way for that is to find something you love, talk about it, and just think about it as you keeping memories, keeping the thing. My biggest thing is the one. So something I say often is I'm more concerned about the one person receiving than the 5 million liking. I'm concerned about that one person receiving the word or the healing they need. And that's my person. Whoever that figurative person is, that's the person. So the intention is that it's to create, to have memories, or to create for somebody to receive, but never to create to think that you have to be like, because then we dive into like people pleasing. And when we do stuff like that, we create a new trauma in ourselves, that we think that if people don't respond to the things I've posted, that I must not be good, that I must not be talented, that this is not happening. So what? Listen, as long as you like it, that's what matters. Create because you want to create, not because you want to receive.
And I'll tell you this much. Don't worry about having a team. Don't worry.
Literally, I don't have one. So.
You're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You can be a
Yeah.
one-man show. You could be
Yeah.
a one-woman show. You can be very, self-taught.
Yeah.
YouTube is there. It's a
Yeah.
resource. And if you have an iPhone, that's all you
That's
need.
it.
Turn it around, or they say use the back camera,
Yeah.
right? And just start creating and start uploading.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't sit one more day with an idea or with a talent or with a gift that you have and not share it with the world because you feel like either you don't have a team, you don't need a videographer, you
Yeah.
don't need an engineer, you don't need an editor. Just go for it.
Yeah. It makes life easier, sure, but
Oh, of course.
at the end of the day, I think that's the greatest thing that I ever had to do, because was that word. Challenges make you better, to make you stronger, make you better in the field. Because I had to create everything on my own. So now I know the ins and outs of it. I know what works, what timing has to happen. But that was a process of sucking. Like the camera that I was using, I'm now using a Sony FX3, but it's very different ballpark to be where I was recording. I was like on a Canon like T3 or something, Rebel. And it looked horrible. Like comparing what I was doing now to what I used to do then was absolutely horrible. But I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I didn't start then. So if I didn't have the horrible, even in 6 months, I'm gonna look back at the footage I have now, and I'm like, man, why are my highlights so blown? Like, that's terrible. Who edited this? But that's the point. You're gonna improve, but you can't improve if you don't start. It's
And
never gonna be better.
And I saw a meme and it was like, just start it and later make it better.
Yeah.
And
Just do it.
that's what I tell people all the time. And you know what? Is it your full-time job, or do you also keep a job?
So for right now, that's what all I'm doing. I was very intentional about that. So like I'm still ministering, preaching, so I still get that. I still get paid for that. But I also get my social media, like TikTok and stuff, and YouTube. Well, YouTube is
What? Why I thought you were going to say my social security. I'm like, oh, you're
My
on disability too?
Espérate, que I'm Dominican, but not that Dominican.
I was like, diablo,
No me
este tigre
sale.
tiene todos los hustles.
Quisiera yo me paguen los biles, Social Security. No, but we have that, and then I was very intentional about this year. So I don't know. I think the podcast is doing well. I don't really know how to quantify these numbers.
You
because
better pull your numbers.
I mean, I see them,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know how to compare it to. I'll ask you questions later.
All right.
Yeah, because
Don't worry, I'm going to pick your brain as soon as you shut that mic off.
yeah, because I don't want to tell nobody numbers, but I don't know anything. But it's doing well. For what I see, it's doing well. So my biggest thing, though, is if this is the only year that I have this podcast that's happening, this is going to be the year that I'm going to try the best. I'm just fully throw myself into this. Because if next year doesn't happen, it's cool. It didn't happen. But I gave this year, I
It will.
enjoyed it this year. So
No, it will happen. And, you're just gaining velocity and, your exposure. And I feel like more and more people are, sending me your content. And they're like, this guy, did you see this video? And that's when I know things are going to start to spin out of control for someone. When all that I see is
The
this
same
person. And I'm like, why is everybody sending me the same thing? And that's why I was like, you know what? I love your content, but then it started to be like other people are watching. And I'm in a room and I'm like, oh, they're watching so-and-so. And I'm like, you know what? This is dope. And I love what you're doing. And I love that, you're moving and existing as a man of faith. Because I feel like I know a lot of men who love God, but are not willing to put it out there on social media. I don't know if they feel like it's going to make them feel weak or not cool. But I want everybody to know loving Jesus is amazing.
Yeah.
Going to church is super cool. You meet great people, and if you love God, be proud about it. Put a sticker on your car, because you know what? He's our
Honk
savior.
for Jesus. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, no, and I think at the same time, it's like they're so hurt by like church, I call it church hurt, right? The people are so hurt by that they're scared to dive into those things.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, that really is. But just that quick premise that it's just you don't follow people, you follow God.
Amen.
Right? So if you put your faith in people, yeah, that's it.
Se jodió todo
Yeah.
inmediatamente.
And actually, Saint Teresa of Calcutta, one of my favorite saints. There was a senator from the States. He went over to visit, and she was like looking around, and he saw how efficient things were, and how things were a little messy and stuff like that. But he asked her the question. He's like, "How is it that you're so successful in such a terrible place?" And she responds. She says, "I wasn't called to be successful. I was called to be faithful." And that was like
that's a good one.
Bar. that is a bar, because the reality is this, that we don't got to be successful. We just have to be faithful to the things that we're in. You got to be connected to that and make that the premise of why you do everything else. And if your faith is what roots you, is where you're rooted and grounded, then so be it. But live it.
I love that, man. Now, if people want to find you, how are they going to find you? If you're listening, to this episode today and you've never heard of Joshua Rosa and you want to follow him, where are they going? Talk to me.
Every platform is _ Joshua Rosa. Keep it uniform and easy. YouTube. Made for This Mountain is the podcast. So YouTube is the Made for This Mountain podcast. And yeah, that's pretty much, it's an easy way to find me.
That's dope. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're absolutely amazing. I'm super, happy that you're part of My Cultura and iHeartRadio. We need more of us. Not only you're a Dominicano, but you're also, up north with me.
Yeah.
We're going to connect. We're going to bond. And, we're going to keep building on this.
Tamaki. Thank you for all this. Thank you for having me on.
Gracias. Come again.